Well, hello, Welcome back to the Magical Mystery School, and we're doing Astrology Class 22. Wow. I guess I always think wow because when I started this, I thought, oh, I'll do about 12 of these, see if I like it. I guess I like it. Okay, so we're going to go straight to aspects in this class, and I'm going to go over these chart grids down here because they're super helpful, and sometimes they can be a little crazy looking when you get these and kind of blow your brain. So I just kind of want to walk you through those a little bit, and then basically just kind of start talking about some of the different planets and how the aspects work and that sort of thing. So you can get more into the groove of that interpretation. Okay, so I'm going to put you on pause and bring the camera down. See you soon. Okay, so here we are. Here's your wheel up here, and then here's this grid. And notice it's got all the planets going down one side and all the planets going down this side too. So this one's very easy to look at and see. And just to let you know, we also include the rising sign, ascendant, and the midheaven. And the nodes of the moon, I haven't talked to you yet about those. They're super important though, but I will get there to those nodes of the moon. And this is called the part of fortune, and it's an Arabian point in the sky. And I just like to know where my money's coming from. I guess that's why I keep putting the part of fortune. And of course, the person I learned from always used it. But you may get something that looks something like this, which may, like I said, kind of fry your brain. So let me first explain what's going on here so that you won't be feeling too crazy. Compared to that last one, and I'll have to kind of let the camera focus in on this, you'll notice that down here, they've added all the asteroids as well as just the planets. So there we've got about 5 more bodies to look at in this particular chart. And I guess I'm thinking, when you and then whoa and when you look at these, you'll see it shows it's just in this that just is showing all the planets and their positions, what signs and degrees they're at. Almost had an accident there. But when you get these charts through the computer, they're going to be all different. So some are going to have all that information. You can request, not to have those asteroids if you want. And that does, especially in the beginning, does keep it a lot easier to look at. You can see, hopefully the camera is going to focus in on this. Maybe if I quit moving, it will. Can you see that? All right, well, there we go. Okay, so see this circle? I'll take the pencil away. It's showing how many planets are above the horizon and below the horizon, as well as how many are east and west in those 4 quadrants that we talked about way back at the very beginning of classes. And this chart also has, the focus isn't working for me here. Come on, get in focus. Oh, I guess that's as good as I'm going to get here. So you can see one of those boxes had fire, earth, air, and water. So it's telling you how many planets are in each of that. Then the modalities, how many are cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And then this, just to let you know, there's a whole other cosmobiology, I believe it's called, astrology, where they still use a wheel, but instead of dividing it up by sign like this, they just put the planets in a row by their degree. So if you have 2 degrees of Venus in Aries, and then 5 degrees Saturn, and Leo, it doesn't matter that 2, that's going to be showing up 2, 5, etc. And just put it from 0 to 30. So just to let you know that's out there, but we won't pay any attention to that one. Here, let me put a pause on. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. And hopefully my camera won't tip over or anything else here coming up. So that's why this chart just looks so much more, so complicated, because it's got more information on it. So anyway, just to let you know that that's a possibility out there. So especially in the beginning, you're going to want to just probably keep it to our 10 planets and the rising sign, the midheaven. And like I said, I'll explain the nodes to you here pretty soon. So basically what this is doing is we can just go down this row and see every planet that aspects the moon. So we can see the moon and the sun don't have an aspect, but there the moon and Mercury do have an aspect. So let's check that. So when I look, oh, there's the moon at 19 degrees Leo, and then there's the Mercury at 18 degrees Taurus. So that makes sense. Squaring signs. Signs that square are the same modalities. So that's fixed, and 18, 19. And then notice down here, it also has a little 1 degree and 5 minutes, and that S stands for separating. So we can see that moon is past the Mercury. All right, and the moon's moving faster. And yeah, we can 1832 to 1932, that's about 1 degree. So there's that separating. Now, you'll never, and just in general, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, all aspects will be described as in their shortest distance. So you're never going to have a 270 degree aspect. You're just going to have 2 squares, basically. So I hope that's clear as mud. Now, when I see, now we'll get into a little bit of the art here. When I see moon square Mercury, I'm thinking, oh, this person's might have some trouble talking about their feelings, or may have some issues with that. And moon is always mother. So I'm saying, maybe they had a lot of fights with mom, especially growing up when they were a kid. Now, the rising sign is Cancer, and the moon is in Leo. So this may not be quite as obvious, this square, as if that moon was also in Cancer also. So, but it's still the first house. And when I see Mercury up here in the 10th house squaring that moon, I'm almost thinking, in a square, which is kind of struggle, difficult kind of energy, I'm thinking, a real good use of that would be to get out there and talk about maybe some controversial subjects in the public. Maybe that's their job. In fact, I know this person, and it kind of surprised me when I was looking at it. I've done their chart before. They're a PR person, so they're used to getting out there and in the public and speaking, but also, having to manage things, and so maybe not everybody's happy. And with that Mercury in Taurus, she focuses totally on environmental issues, which would make total sense with that Mercury in Taurus that kind of rules our environment, our agriculture too. Okay. All right. So, and then as we look down this moon, we see that the moon is conjunct Pluto, 8 degrees applying in 26 minutes. So let's look and see if we can find that. Okay, there's the moon, and there's Pluto right next to it, a conjunction. But it's 8 degrees. So remember our talk on orbs. 3 and under is very tight. 5 and under is certainly is tight enough. When we start getting up 6, 7, 8, a little bit not quite as tight, but still important. And then once we get over 10, for sure, we kind of don't even see that as an aspect anymore. So a moon Pluto person is going to have some pretty powerful feelings. And and then with the Pluto being in the second house, yeah, I'm thinking they can make some good money there. So anyway, that's just, and with that Mercury squaring that, now but it's too far away for Mercury to square the Pluto. It's just squaring the moon, but that's okay. So when we see that, we're just going to see that, yeah, this person actually needs to get out there and talk in front of the public about some controversial type of subjects. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the sun. And when we go down the sun is opposing Saturn. And let's look and see if we can find that. Sure enough, sun's in Gemini. The opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius. So, yep, there's the opposition. And it's a separating opposition. So that sun is past the Saturn. And Saturn's at 10 degrees. Sun is at 12. So it's past that opposition. And now, how would I read that? Well, again, that's remember, the opposition is kind of the back and forth of energy. And Saturn and Sun, I'm almost seeing this could be kind of a rough relationship with Dad too, because Sun and Saturn both are authority figures, and to have that kind of opposition sort of struggling there also, probably not the most fun childhood home life with that Mercury square the moon, Pluto, Sun opposed Saturn. In the 11th and 5th house. So again, I think the best way to work this out is to try to have as much fun with that responsibility and getting out there to talking to people in the public. Okay, so I think you can start to see how these grids work. So I'm going to just, I want to kind of go around and touch on all the planets. So I think I'm going to stop for now. I've done the Sun, Moon, and Saturn, and a little bit of Pluto there. And we'll come back and we'll talk about the rest of the planets in the next class. So bye-bye, guys. See you next time. Thank you.